Parashat Shemot, Tovshin Pei. B'siyata d'Shemaya. I'm going to start first in the middle of the parsha. When Hashem Yisburech asks Moshe Rabbeinu that he should go to Paroi because he wants him to be the Shliach to take out the Jewish nation, Yiddish Kinder from Mitzrayim. Moshe Rabbeinu asks Hashem, what's his name? If the Yid not going to ask me, Hashem tells him, Eya, Eya, Asher Eya. Then Hashem tells him like this, Vayomer oid Elokim el Moshe. Hashem was mamshich. He continued and he told Moshe, Koi soimer al b'nei Yisrael, you should tell Yiddish Kinder, Hashem Elokei Aveseichem, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchok, Elokei Yaakov, Shlachani Aveichem. I was sent to you by Hashem, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchok, Elokei Yaakov. Zeh Shemi La'olam, this is my name, La'olam, V'zeh Zichri L'doi V'doi. This is my, how do you say a zeicher in English? My
memory, but it's not a good
no, it's my
honor.
Yeah. V'zeh Zichri, this is my name and this is my zeicher L'doi V'doi. Now comes the Ramban, and the Ramban says that the Zeh Zichri that it says over here in Posik doesn't refer to the psikim before that Hashem tells him his name, Eya Asher Eya. It refers to what it says in this Posik. Hashem tells him, you should go to Jewish Yidden, to the Jewish people, and tell them, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchok, Elokei Yaakov, Shluchani Aleichem. I was sent to you by Hashem, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchok, Elokei Yaakov. Zeh Zichri L'doi L'doi. Whenever you want to be Ma'oyer, the Schus Avos, you should remind, you should say, you should call to me by saying Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchok, Elokei Yaakov. Zeh Zichri L'doi L'doi. Zog the Ramban. V'zeh Zichri L'doi L'doi Yachzor. It goes back, it refers Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchok, Elokei Yaakov. Ki loi la'olam yishkach bris avos. Hashem won't forget forever Chaz v'sholem bris avos v'chol hadoiros. In every generation, ka'asher yaskiru, when you're going to mention, you're going to remind by davening, Elokei Avraham, Yitzchok v'Yaakov, Yishma El v'Yanem. Hashem is going to listen to you and He's going to answer your tefillas. We see that our Shemoneh Esrei every day starts off with this Aschala. Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchok, Elokei Yaakov. According to the Ramban, Hashem Yisburech told Moshe Rabbeinu he should go to the Jewish people, to Klal Yisrael, that they were still residing in Mitzrayim and still begging for a Geula. And he tells them the soy, the secret. If you call to me, by calling me by the name Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchok, Elokei Yaakov, Zeh Zichri L'doi L'doi. In every generation, B'chol HaDoires, when you're going to remind that you're going to be Ma'oyer, this name, Yishma El V'Yanem. Hashem is going to hear, He's going to listen to you, and He's going to answer your tefillas. The Frat in our generation, we are now in the last Golis Edom, and in Golis Edom it said in Pirkei de Reb Leizer that it's going to be Golis Yishmuel. That's the last part of Golis Edom. That's why we say by the Slichis, Kalei Seir v'choisnoi. When we speak about Edom, we say Hashem should be Mechaleh. How do you say Mechaleh? Wipe out. Seir, that's Edom, v'choisnoi, and the father-in-law. Who is the father-in-law? Yishmuel. Because Esav was a son-in-law of Yishmuel. So Kalei Seir v'choisnoi. Then the Yalu L'Tzion Moshiach. Klal Yisrael is going to have the Yeshua. We're going to come back to Eretz Yisrael, to Yerushalayim. So we call it Kalei Seir v'choisnoi. We should be Nitzel from Edom and his choisnoi, his father-in-law. That's Yishmuel. Because in Golis Edom, the last Golis is Yishmuel. Now the Medrash says, why is Yishmuel called Yishmuel? The Medrash brings, in the Pasuk it says the reason, because Hagar said, Shema Hashem, to her tefillah. But in Medrash it said that the Ikvus of the Mashiach, in our generation, Yishmuel is going to make a lot of tzaras for Klal Yisrael. And Yidden won't have any other variety just to call out to Hashem. And then it's going to be Yishma Keil V'Yanem. That's Yishmael. Yishma Keil V'Yanem. So the same pasuk that the Ramban quotes, that Hashem, we're going to mention Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchok, Elokei Yaakov, Yishma Keil V'Yanem, that refers to our generation when we have the Golos of Yishmuel, Yishma Keil V'Yanem. Hashem should listen and answer our tefillas. And we see afterwards when Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu that he wants him to go to Paroi, and he wants him to show the oisais and oifsim. The first one was that he should take his stick, his mata, and throw it down to the floor, and it's going to turn into a snake. Yeah? Vahila nochosh. It starts like this. Vayomer Elav Hashem. Hashem tells Moshe, Maze beyotecho. What do you have in your hands? Vayomer Moshe answers, Mata. I have a stick. Vayomer Hashem tells him, Ashlecheyu arzo. Throw it down to the floor. Vayishlecheyu arzo. Vahila nochosh. It became a nochosh. Moshe Rabbeinu ran away. Hashem tells him he should pick it up. It's going to turn back into a stick. The Chassam Sofer says it over Niflo. Why is Moshe Rabbeinu called Moshe? We know, because the Pasuk says, Basi called him Moshe, we're going to get back to this in a few minutes regarding Basi, is calling him Moshe. But now we're speaking about the Chassam Sofer. The Chassam Sofer says, Moshe and Ahron, they were both very big in the middle of Anove, like they say, V'nachni mo, we are nothing. Mo, ma. Ma means nothing. V'nachnu, what are we? Ma. We are klum, nothing. They were by themselves feeling like very, very bachnue v'anove. So that's the name Moshe as a mem and a hai. What's the shin in the middle? Says the Chassam Sofer Edavar Nifle. The shin is made out of a tes. The outside is like a tes. And the middle part of the shin is a zayin. The middle part is a zayin. Because a shin is made, if you take the two outer chelik, it's a tes. And in the middle you have a zayin that makes it together for a shin. That tells us. Tes refers to toiv. Ein toiv, tes, Chazal say when you see tes b'chaloim, you should be waiting and hoping for goods coming to you, because the first time it says in the Torah the letter tes is vayara lekim esuvoy ki toiv. So tes refers to toiv, goodness. Zayin, the letter zayin refers to weapon. Klei zayin. It refers to weapons. Moshe Rabbeinu had two chalokim, sagt the Chassam Sofer. He was the one that gave the Torah to Klal Yisrael, and he was also the one that gave all the makkis for the Mitzrayim. And then by the Melchoma with Amalek, Moshe Rabbeinu held his hands up, and then they were menatzeach the Melchoma. V'yekashiyore Moshe siyodoi v'gova Yisrael. Hashem called him Moshe, you're takema, memhe, you're nothing. But you have a sheen in the middle. You have to know there's a test in the sheen. You have to be the one giving over the Torah for Klal Yisrael, and you have to be the one that should fight the wars for Klal Yisrael. The Klei Zayin of Klal Yisrael. That's the Zayin in the middle of the sheen. You have a test and a Zayin. Says the Chassam Sofer, Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't so excited by getting this tafkid that he also has to be the one to do the wars for Klal Yisrael. He just wanted the other chaylik, the Asay Toiv, to bring the Torah to Klal Yisrael. Not the Sur Meirah, take away all the enemies of Klal Yisrael, the bad nations. So Hashem, if you look in Posik, it's in Kapitel Dalet Posik base. Vayomer Elov Hashem, Maze beyodechu. If you see it over here, you see the word Maze? Maze, it's not two words, it's one word. Mem, Zayin, Hai. You see it? Vayomer Mate. It says tak over here that the Kri, when you pronounce it, you say Maze two words, like Ma and Ze. Why is it a one word? Says the Chassam Sofer, Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, you can't say that you don't want to be the one going to Paroi and bringing all the makkos on the Mitzrayim. Maze beyodechu. Don't you have a Zayin in your name? You have a Mem Hai, but in the middle you also have a Zayin. Moshe Rabbeinu answers Hashem and he says, Mata, I would wish my name would only be Mata. I would only have the test. I wouldn't have the Zayin in the middle. I would be Memei, and the test in the middle, that refers to giving over the Torah for Klal Yisrael. Ain't Toiv elo Torah. But Hashem forced him and he told him, your name is Moshe because you have both chalukim. You are going to be the one that's going to give the Torah for Klal Yisrael Mata, but you're also going to be the one that's going to have to fight and bring all the makkos on the Mitzrayim until you're going to take Klal Yisrael out of Mitzrayim, and then you're going to win the war against Amalek. But Moshe at the beginning answered, Mata, I would really want my name should be Mata. Burich atu Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol anu b'dvoroi.
Amen.
Now we said before, Basya Baspare called his name Moshe. Now it's interesting because in Medrash it says Moshe had a lot of names. I don't remember if it says 7 names or 10 names. One name he was given by Hashem Yisborach himself, Kavyochel, Yikrusiyeh. One name he was given by his father. One name he was given by his mother. One name Klal Yisrael gave him. One of his names was Toiviyeh, because he was born, the whole house lighted up Vatero Yitzchok Toivi, so I think his father called him Toiviyeh. And Klal Yisrael called him Yered, because he was the one to bring down the Torah from Shamayim. Yered, he brought down the Torah to Klal Yisrael. Yered, he was called Avi Gedoir, Avi Soichoi. He had a lot of names, Moshe Rabbeinu. And Basya called him Moshe. And that's the name that stayed, Moshe Rabbeinu. With the name that Basya Basparoi called him. Why? So because Basya Basparoi, what did she do? She went out of her way to help someone. She saw this Tevas Goime next to the water. Vatishlach esamosa. She stretched out her hands to take this child that was lying over there. She took him home. She saved him. Menamai mishisihi. He was pulled out of the water through me. That's why she called him Moshe. That's the name that stays. Even more than that, the Seforner says he wants to answer a question. He doesn't ask the question, but the question that should be asked is, if you want to call him Moshe because he was pulled out of the water, Menamai Mishisiu, he should really be called Moshu, the one that was pulled out, not Moshe. Moshe really means he is the one that's pulling out others. His real name should be Moshu. He was the one that was pulled out. And we say by Gesher, we say when we remember the schus of Moshe, we say Zechoir Moshu b'Tevas Goyim min Hamayim. Hashem should remember the schus of the one that was pulled out b'Tevas Goyim min Hamayim. So we call him Moshu. Mem Shin Vav Yud. And why is he called over here Moshe? Says this foreigner. Vatikru Shemoy Moshe Memaleit. He is the one that he is Memaleit. That means he rescues. In Moshe, and he pulls out as acherim other ones mitzara from their tzara. She knew already, Briach HaKodesh, Pasya. If Moshe was pulled out, he is going to be a puller. He is going to take out, he is going to rescue Yiddish kinder from their tzara. Vatoime kimin hamayim ishisiu, says the Svarna. Hatam shikarosiv Moshe. The reason why I'm calling him Moshe, lahoiros, to teach you, to show Klal Yisrael, Sheyemaleit es acherim hu, that he is going to be the one that's going to rescue and be memaleit others. Ki omnam, he was pulled out when Amayim after he was already on the water, and that was minashomayim to show that he is going to be the one that's going to be memaleit others, that he's going to be rescuing others. So we see that even when Basya Baspare calls him Moshe, first of all, as we said before, that she did the pe'ilah, she went out of her way to help another fellow, to help a Jew, a Yiddish kind. So that name stayed. And more than that, when she gave him this name, she put in his DNA. The DNA. It was already over there, but she even understood it, that the DNA of Moshe is rescuing others, being Moshiach Shal Yisrael, being the Roya Naaman, the Raya Mehemna for Klal Yisrael, and that's what the Medrash says. It says in Posik, Vahi Bayomim Uein, Vayigdal Moshe. Moshe became big. Vayetze al Echov. He went out to his brothers. Vayar b'sivloisom, and he saw how they are sivloisom. How do you say sevel? How they are suffering. He saw the suffering of Klal Yisrael, and he couldn't take it. The Medrash says, what made Moshe Rabbeinu become big? Vayigdal Moshe. He doesn't say he became big because he gave the Torah for Klal Yisrael. His greatness started off by seeing what the suffer of another fellow Jew and what he could help. The Medrash says he used to see some of the Yidden schlepping, how they are carrying such a burden, such heavy stones. He used to put himself behind and used to help them out by carrying. It should make them easier, and he used to cry together with them and tell them, I would wish I would be the one able to take. He couldn't because he was from Shevet Levi. None of Shevet Levi was Bavoidas Perech. The Frat Moshe, that he was brought up in the house of Paroi. So, and the police, the Noishim, they were standing and seeing that the other Jews, they should do their work. But he tried to help out. He could have been sitting at home, and Moshe Rabbeinu went out. Vayetze Alechav, he wants to see his brother suffering. Vayabesev Loisam, that made him that made him the Moshe Rabbeinu. He is the one to help others. Now it says over there, begleich afterwards in Posik, that he saw a Ish Mitzri hitting a Ish Ivri Me'echov, hitting another fellow Jew. And it says in Posik, he looked around Moshe Rabbeinu, right and left. Vayarki Einish, he saw there's no one around. What did he do? Vayaches HaMitzri, he killed the Mitzri, and he buried him in the sand. That's what it says in Posik. Rashi brings down the Medrash, Vayarki Einish, that he looked into this Mitzri, and he saw there won't be anyone coming out of this Mitzri that's going to be eventually being Megayer himself. So by killing him, he's not preventing even one neshama of a goy that wants to become a ger. He's not even preventing. So in that case, if he's hitting a Jew, he killed the Mitzri. That's how we learn. So again, the Pasuk says, Vayar ish Mitzri, Make ish Ivri me'echov. He sees a Mitzri hitting a ish Ivri, a Jewish fellow, me'echov, a brother of Moshe. And Moshe Rabbeinu looks around, right and left, and he sees there is no one seeing, no one looking. And more than that, as we said, he looks into this Mitzri and he sees there's no one, and he sees there's no one coming out again from this Mitzri. He kills him and he buries him in the sand. The Beyander Rebbe Zechroine Levrucha once said, I think it was in a time that there was a war, maybe in Israel, and he wanted it to be Melamed Tzchis and the Chayalim and the soldiers. And even though there are sometimes soldiers that they are very far from Shmiras HaTorah v'Amitzvos, but still they are Jews. They have a Yiddish neshama. He says like this. He explained this pasuk. He wanted to speak Klape Shemaya to Hashem, and he said like this. Moshe Rabbeinu goes out, and he sees a Ish Mitzri, Make Ish Ivri Me'echov. He sees a Mitzri, an Arab, hitting a Ish Ivri, a Jewish fellow, Me'echov. He refers to the Mitzri, meaning to say that the Ish Ivri was so far from Derech HaTorah v'Amitzvos that he looked actually like a brother of the Mitzri. You couldn't recognize that he is a Yid and he is an Arab. He was so far, the Yid was so far that he looked Me'echov, as if he is a brother of the Mitzri. He sees the Ish Mitzri as being a Makkah Ish Ivri, Me'echov from his brothers. It looks like the Ish Ivri is also his brother. But Moshe Rabbeinu wants to help the Yid. So Moshe Rabbeinu looks into that Yid and he sees, maybe of this Yid there's going to come out something good. He looks into the Yid. Vayarki Einish. He's taka a Yid, but I don't see in the generation someone coming back doing tshuva like you have to do to become an Erlich Yid. So should he sacrifice for such a Yid or not? And Moshe Rabbeinu decides, after all, a goy, an Arab, is hitting a Jew no matter what, no matter how he looks, even though he's so far from Torah and Mitzvahs. And even though there's no one coming out of him that's going to be a Shoyim Torah and Mitzvahs, but he's a Jew, he's a Yid, you have to save him. And if a goy hits a Yid, we have to kill the Arab. You have to kill the Mitzri and save the Yiddish kid. In the beginning of the Parashat, starts over Eile Shemois B'nei Yisrael Abuim Mitzrayim. And Rashi brings down in the beginning that Klal Yisrael are so loved by Hashem, Chuviv by Hashem Yisborach, that he counts them and he mentions their names while they were living, in Parashat Vayigash, as they are coming down to Mitzrayim. And over here in Shemot, when they go away from the world, as they are passing away, because the Parashat says over here, Vayomas Yosef v'cholecha v'chol adorahi, he counts them again. He brings down the names, brings down the Shivim Nofesh. Why? That they are actually Nimshalu. How do you say Nimshalu? They are equal to Kechovim. They are was compared. Very good. They are compared to Kechovim, to the stars. By the Kechovim, it also says Amoitzi b'mispar tzvom lechilam b'shem yikru. Hashem takes them out and he brings them in. He counts them. He gives them a name. Amoitzi b'mispar tzvom lechilam b'shem yikru. And that's Klal Yisrael Nimshel Lekechovim. We also say by davening, this is a pasuk in Yeshaya. We say by davening the pasuk in Tehillim, Moina mispar lakechovim lechilam shem yikru. Now, b'mamar amuzge we say, b'derech agav. We see an interesting thing, that Klal Yisrael are compared to Kechovim. By Kechovim we see everybody has a number, and every koichav has a name. And every yid is like this. Moina mispar lakechovim lechilam b'shem yikru. We also see in Parshas Bamidbar, when we count Klal Yisrael, it always says, B'mispar Shemos. B'mispar Shemos, you have to count Klal Yisrael. If you think into it, it's actually two different things. Mispar and Shemos are two opposite things. Mispar is when you count. If you count people and you say on a person, number 25, every person knows. Why is he 25? Because the one before was 24. And the one after him is going to be 26. And 5 after him is going to be number 30. But when you call people by their names, Avram, Moshe, Chaim, Nochum, everybody understands, not because he is Avram, he is Chaim, and he is Moshe, and he is Nochum. And you can't know by saying, oh, if the one before is Nochum, so for sure the next one is going to be, who says? Zurich. It could be any name. It could be Yikesil. It could be any name. It could be. So the Mishnah says, Hillel says, Im eina nili mili, ikshani la'atzmi muani. Ve'im lo yachshav eimusai. Hillel says, if I won't worry for myself, who is going to do what I have to do? And if I keep myself alone, is also not good. Im eina nili, if I won't do what I have to do and I'm going to worry for myself, mili. But ikshani la'atzmi, if I'm on my own, muani, what am I? The person has to be a part of a community, a part of a klal, but with that he also has to know he is a yochid. And he shouldn't say, all right, I'm going to do what everybody is going to do. He has to know what he has to do, what Hashem wants from him. What's right to be done, that's what he has to do. A mispar, a number is the definition, you're part of a klal. You're number 216, all right. So that means that there are at least 260 people in this community, in this kehillah. When you are called by your name, it doesn't make any difference if you have a kehillah, if you are part of a group. This is your name. This is your specific name, your neshama. So Klal Yisrael are compared to Kechovim. They are called by the names and they have a mispar. Hamoitzi b'mispar tzevuam lechilam b'shem yikru. And that's why we call Shemois B'nai Yisrael. Hashem calls everybody by his name. And then they are Shivim Nofesh. Altogether, they are 70 Nefashos. But everybody has his own name. You have to be, even after having your certain identity, your own name, you still have to be part of a community, part of a chabur, of a kehillah. Now we see an interesting rach, that Klal Yisrael al nimshal to Kechovim. I once heard the name of Reb Ahron Baksht. He was one of the big Rabbanim in Lite. He said like this, Reb Ahron Baksht. Actually, we also know that Klal Yisrael are compared to the Levana. Goyim im Yisraelim are compared to the sun, and the year of the Goyim is a Shnas Achama. It goes 365 days is a year, and Klal Yisrael we count the Chadoshim, the months and the year, to the Levana, because Klal Yisrael is nimshali le-Levana. So why do we always say that Klal Yisrael nimshali le-Kechovim, to the stars, more than, why don't we say more that we are compared to the Levana? He said like this. he says the stars, the Kechovim, were actually created in the beginning of their creation. They were created in order to help others. The Gemara says in Masech Techil that in the beginning Hashem created two Ma'odes Agdoilim. The Levana came and he said, Ein shtei melachim mishtamshim bekeser echad. It can't work like that. The two big Ma'or are going to be a Ma'or HaGodel the Son and a Ma'or HaGodel the Levana. So Hashem told her, you're right. That's why Lechi Emati Asatzmech. Make yourself small. So in that case, it won't be two the same. There won't be the same Ma'or HaGodel. One is going to be Godel and one is going to be Kotoin. So the Levana cried and she said, because I said such a good taina, that's why I deserve that I should be Lechi Emati Asatzmech. Hashem tells her, I'm going to give you a few. Hashem was Mephayis. He was like, how do you call it, Mephayis? He was apologizing like Kavyochel the Levana, and he told her, I'm going to give you a lot of Shamoshim. All the Kechovim, all the stars are going to be your Shamoshim. They're going to be Meshamesh and Meshures. So the beginning of the creation of the Kechovim were in order to be Meshamesh, to be Meshures, other ones. Now, Yidden are also compared to the Levana. But when every person speaks and he wants to think about what's his tafkid, he has to look on the other fellow Jew as a Levana. But my part is I'm a koichav, I'm a star. Because the stars were created in order to help the Levana, to be Meshamesh and to be Meshoretz for the Levana. So if all the Yidden are be'emes taka Levana, well, they're also kechovim. And that shows that our tafkid is, our mission is, in order to see what you could help another fellow Jew. So you are the koichav, you have to be the one shining in and being Meshamesh and Meshuris, whatever you can do to help. As we see Taka in Tehillim, the pasuk before Moinem Bispala Kechovim Nechilam Shemes Yikru is the pasuk Uroifei Leshvurei Leiv Umechabe Shlatz Voisam. Hashem helps out all heartbroken people, and He also makes happy all the ones that they are ba'atzvis, that they are sad. Hashem makes them happy. So we have to be hardbig b'medoytzav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if we want to go in the ways as a Moinem Bispala Kechovim Nechilam Shemes Yikru, we have to do the tafkid of the koichav, and the koichav is there to be meshamesh and to be meshores the levana. We also have to be meshamesh and meshores another yid, the other yid, to help him out, to help him with whatever he needs. As I heard once of the tzaddikim once said, usually a person, whatever he has two, he has a right and a left. He has two eyes, so there's the right eye and the left eye. 2 ears, 2 hands, 2 feet. Whatever you have, a one is usually in the middle. The nose is in the middle. The mouth is in the middle. A heart, you only have one heart. So why is the heart more to the left, not in the middle? And if you want to take a side, you should really take the right side. Why did he take the left side, the heart? So he explained, because a Yiddish heart was created for another fellow Jew, not for himself. And regarding the other Jew, it's on his right. It's stuck on the right side. Because if the heart was created for the other Jew that's standing against you, your heart is on his right side. That shows us that the heart was created for another Yid, like we say the koichav was created for another Yid, and that's why it's on the level, because that's really the right from the other Yid. Yesterday was Yid Gimel Taivis. It was the yahrzeit of Reb Moshe Lelever. Reb Moshe from Lelev. He was a known big tzaddik, Reb Moshe of Lelev. And they say in his name that once a Yid came to him and he said, I don't know what to do. I need help from the Rebbe. What's the problem? I do business. And a lot of times I earn a nice amount of money, but after a short period of time, I lose it. Everything is like burned out. And it's not once or twice, it's a lot of times happening. I'm earning money, and then everything gets lost. I'm left with nothing. What can I do? Just want to say a joke. A person once said that his wife turned him into a millionaire. And Poshet Pshat is because the Gemara says that the broche in the house is b'schis ha'isha, B'schis the wife. Like it says by Avram Avinu, La Avram heitiv ba'avura. All the good that came to Avram Avinu was because of Sarah. La Avram heitiv ba'avura, the Gemara says, the brocha is in the house, b'schus ha'isha, b'schis the woman. But he said, how did his wife turn him into a millionaire? Because he was before a billionaire, and she turned him into a millionaire. Understood?
I laughed.
He was before a billionaire, and she turned him into a millionaire. So this person had this problem. He used to earn money, and then he used to lose everything. So he went to the tzaddik of Ramoshe Elef, and he told him he should make a quiz to learn every day a little bit Gemara, even a few shiras, a little bit Gemara. And he quoted a Gemara in Masechta Tainis, tzaddikim like a lot of times to be malbish, to put on, to dress up their moifis into a chazal. It shouldn't. So he told him there's a Gemara in Masechta Tainis that the Gemara says, Reb Chanina ben Doise, he was one of the holy Tanuim, Reb Chanina ben Doise, but he was very poor, unfortunately. And once his wife asked him, why do we have to live in such poorness, in such, how do you say it, poverty, such poverty? Ask Hashem should give you a little bit for your mitzvahs that you are doing. He should pay you back something at this world. He davened to Hashem, and a hand came down from Shamayim and gave him a leg of a table out of pure gold. So he told his wife, look, we became very rich. That night she went to sleep, his wife, and she sees in a dream that all of her friends, the other Tanuim, the families, are sitting in Gan Eden, and they have a table with 4 legs. And Reb Chanina ben Doise is sitting with his wife, their family, and they only have a table with 3 legs. So she asks, where's the 4th leg? And she was told, you asked for that on this world, so you got it on this world. She woke up and she tells her husband, no, I'm not interested in this leg. Give it back. I want to have in Gan Eden a table with 4 gold legs. Reb Chanina ben Doise davens, and a hand comes down, and he takes it back. And the Gemara says, the second miracle is much bigger than the first one. Why? Because we have the Kabbalah, Gemira. Gemira in Gemara means we have the Kabbalah, that from Shamayim you could get, but they don't take back. Mayev you have, they give, a shefa, but mishkel shakla. To take back it's the hepech of the shefa, how it goes from Shamayim. So when he was given that leg of gold, that was normal. But to take it back, that's a bigger miracle. He said, Ramoshe Elef, Gemira, if you learn Gemara, he took the Gemira that refers the Kabbalah that Chazal have the Kabbalah. He says, Gemira, if you learn Gemara, Meyav Yahav, they're going to give you Shefa, and Mishkel Shokla, they won't take it back afterwards. So this person was like crying and saying, I get Shefa, but then it's taken back. So he was told, if you're going to learn Gemara, so the Shefa won't be taken back, Chas v'Shalom. This Shabbos is the yahrzeit of the Bnei Yissaschar, the holy Bnei Yissaschar. He has a Sefer Agri Dekala, Bnei Yissaschar, a lot of Sforim. First I want to say a word from him, and then I'm going to say an interesting story that he used to repeat a lot of times. He brings down this week's Parsha. When we speak about Shmois Bnei Yisrael, Chazal say, one of the things that kept Klal Yisrael as a nation, and they weren't mixed with the Mitzrayim, lo shinu et shemam. They didn't change their names. They gave their children Jewish names, and they didn't get carried away by their neighbors, the Mitzrayim, and all of their names. They stayed with Shmois Bnei Yisrael, Jewish names. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. He is Masbed Agri Dekala. It says in Posik, in the beginning of the Parsha, when the Melech Mitzrayim calls over the 2 Meyaldois, the 2, how do you call a Meyaledet in English? Midwife. Oh. He calls over the 2 midwives, Shifra and Pia. They were really Yocheved and Miriam. Rashi explains, Shifra was Yocheved and Pua was Miriam, and he tells them, When you give birth to the Jewish woman, if you see that it's a boy, try to kill him, and if it's a girl, leave him alive. So let me quote the pasuk, and then I'm going to explain what he is saying. It says like this: "Vayomer melech Mitzrayim lamayaldos ivrios," to the Jewish midwives. Asher shemu achas shifra v'shem hashenis pua. Vayomer, and he tells them, "Vayaletchnes ivrios ve'reusan alu avnoyim im beinu v'amitan oisov im basi v'choyo." So he asks, what was the first Vayomer? The first pasuk it starts. Melech Mitzrayim tells them Mayaldos Ivrios. It doesn't say what he tells them. It just says that their names were Shifra and Pia. Vayomer, and he tells them Mayaletchem. And what was the first Vayomer in the first pasuk? So the Agri de Kal that Paroi knew that if they're going to stay with their names Yecheved and Miriam, no chance he could convince them and influence them in order they should obey his orders that he gave them, that they should do what he wants to do. He came up with a clever idea. He changes their names. Vayomer in the first pasuk means he said, Melech Mitzrayim. What did he say? He told them, Asher Shemu Achas Shifra v'Shem Hashenis Pia. He changed their names. Now, once their names are changed, Vayomer, he tells them, I want from you this in this order. Because he knew before changing their names, it didn't work in the end. But even Paroi the Yitzchok understood that before changing their names, it won't help. And that could also be pshat in the psukim before it says, "Vayoker melech chodesh al Mitzrayim, asher lo yoda es Yosef." He didn't know Yosef, so Chazal Rashi brings down two pshat. Or it was take a new king, or he made himself an old king. He made himself as he didn't know Yosef. We could learn pshat like this. Oh, I want to say before a pasuk before it says that they were kol nefesh, were shivim nefesh, the Yosef hoyo b'Mitzrayim. What's the Yosef hoyo b'Mitzrayim? Pashtus, it means to say, how were the shivim nefesh? Together with Yosef, that was in Mitzrayim, there were shivim nefesh. But the Kedushas Levi says, it could have said, the Yosef hoyo sham. Yosef was there already from before, and together with Yosef and the children, they added up to shivim nefesh. So says the Kedushas Levi, no, the pasuk wants to tell us. Do you want to know why they stayed as a nation in Mitzrayim? Because the Yosef hoyo b'Mitzrayim, he was there in the beginning. And Paro tried to change his name into Tzofnas Paneach. He called him his name Tzofnas Paneach, and it didn't work. Yosef stayed with his name Yosef. Even Paro was asked to say a few psikim later. He tells the Mitzrayim, L'chu al Yosef. Whatever he's going to tell you, you should do. What's L'chu al Yosef? You gave him a name Tzofnas Paneach. But he had to surrender Paro. It didn't work. When Yosef was in the street and you called him Tzofnas Paneach, he didn't even turn around. It's not him. You can't change my name. My name stays Yosef. He didn't even turn around if you called him Tzofnas Paneach. Even when Pari called him Tzofnas Paneach, he didn't call himself only Yosef. So that's why the Yosef hoya b'Mitzrayim, he stayed in Mitzrayim with the name Yosef, like Rashi says, Lo yediat tzidkoseh shel Yosef, that he stayed Omad B'tzidko, he stayed the tzaddik even as a melech in Mitzrayim. So that could be the Melech Hodosh tried to convince Klal Yisrael to change their names. So he said, I don't know Yosef. When he was speaking about the history, he said, no Yosef, there's Tzofnas Paneach, no Yosef. He wanted that it should be Tzofnas Paneach, not Yecheved and Miriam, Shifra and Pua. And in that way, he wanted to be Mishana Shmois B'nai Yisrael. And in that way, he's going to have a koyach, a power, and Klal Yisrael, but it didn't help. Yidden stayed with their names. I want to say a story that the Bnei Yisoscha used to repeat a lot of times. He said like this, that there was once a couple that got married and they had a boy years ago, a few hundred years ago. After they had the boy, something happened and the wife was ne'elam. She was disappeared. The woman disappeared. She left her husband with the baby. Now, no one knew where she was. So the husband probably remarried. And the boy grew up. And after his chassan, he started doing for a living. So he opened up a textile shop. And he sold textile, schoire, badim. And in order he should be able to earn a lot of money, he used to go and buy textile. He used to buy by the manufacturer, so he should get it for a very cheap price, and then he could sell it and earn a lot of money. Once he was on the way back after purchasing a big amount of schoir, of textile, and the weather was very, very bad weather, and he needed the balagola to take him home. He found the balagola, a goy, that took him. On the way, the weather became even worse. So this guy told him, look, I live mamish on the way to your city where you live. I live in a small village, in a town. I live over there. I could stop by at my home at night. You could stay by me till in the morning, and the weather is going to become better. We're going to be mamshich. He took the offer because it was stuck, snowing and raining. It was mamish impossible to move on. So they stopped in the village, in the town of this guy, and he slept over there the night. In the morning, as they wanted to go out, the weather became even worse. So the guy tells them, look, you have nothing to lose. Meanwhile, the horse, they are getting some rest. They're resting up, and you could rest up. We're going to wait till the weather is going to become better. The next morning was already Friday, and he thought, I'm going to start so far from my city. Am I going to arrive? Maybe not. What if the weather is going to change? He was afraid maybe he's going to have to Chaz v'shurim stay somewhere in the middle of Shabbos. He decided he's going to stay here till after Shabbos, and on Sunday they're going to move on. Friday in the afternoon, before night, he sees the old mother of this guy takes a few candles, and she makes a bracha, lahatlik neir shel Shabbos, and she lights the candles. It was very interesting. He went over to her, and he started talking to her. And he told her from which city he is. So she starts telling him, I'm also from that city. And she starts recalling elderly people of that city that she still remembers them from years before. At the Hocha, they speak around. So he tells her his name, his family name, and his first name, and she starts crying. She tells him, "You're my son. I was your mother, and I disappeared." And then she married the goy, and this was a goyish son. She cried. The next morning, he wakes up Shabbos morning, and he sees the goy crying. And he asks the goy what happened. He says, "My old mother died last night. She was nifter." So he says, "I'm not so sad about her passing away because she was already very old, over the 90. It's only normal she should pass away. But what my problem is, the galach over here, the priest, I'm not in good terms with him. I'm fighting with him. And he told me already a while ago, when your mother is going to die, no chance she's going to be buried in our cemetery unless you're going to pay me a hefty, big amount of money. What do I do now?" So he tells him, "You know what, I'm going to take care of her. Kvuda, leave it for me." And he took her and he brought her to Kever Yisrael. So he says to Bnei Yisrael, "Look, a Yiddish neshama, she left everything. Nebuch. She left everything. She had one mitzvah that she kept. A mitzvah derabonon of Adlokas Neir Shabbos. But this she kept, and look what it did to her. She made tshuva in the last minutes. She was nifter. She was brought to Kever Yisrael. How we see how choshev it is, every small thing that you do to hold on. Hashem should help us. We should have all the best. Beguf e benefesh, Yemal Hashem, kol mishalos libeinu letoiva. All the best."
Amen.